Hey guys, XJ9's here, and today is going to be a Dofus patch notes kind of video. It's about the temporal anomalies. I will say that I'm kind of a new player. I've been playing for 2 months, so I don't have the full picture about like the scope of this update and what exactly is going to be changed, like how much of an impact it will have. However, I kind of just want to maybe kind of summarize it and give my personal thoughts about it, and just kind of just make a video. Again, I'm not even sure what type of audience I even have on my my Dofus videos, but they're doing pretty good. So I'm like, let's make a video about this. I did leave a comment below on this video already. Well, not this video. This thread. I'll have to comment, but I'll pretty much just like again. I don't. I know what I said, but we're not gonna read my comment. So essentially, it's been 3 years since temporal anomalies have been made, and they haven't been doing too well in terms of what they wanted to accomplish with it. So overall, let's read the patch notes a little bit. The penalties had only a very minor impact on over-harvested territories. Other loot boosting system provided an easy way to counteract these penalties. Looking at you, idols. Worse yet, the penalties ultimately affected the players who were at the same level as the territories in question. In other words, the players who weren't as likely to overharvest their content in the first place. So right off the bat, they're pretty much saying that even if something had a minus 20% bonus, such as like Turtle Island, people are still able to farm it because of all the prospecting gear, idols, and I guess challenges. And sorry, I need to breathe. Whew, gosh. Okay. So all the challenges. So it's not really affecting them. But like players, who are like level 60 and just got the Turtle Island, they are actually suffering because of this. Like they're not. Their goal's not to harvest it, but like, oh hey, maybe they're trying out the place. Like, oh, I've never been here before, and they're like, the loot doesn't seem that good because the penalty is so bad. Because they're not an optimized player, they don't have optimized gear, so they're actually getting punished for doing something that they're supposed to be doing at that level. Uh, the less commonly harvested territories constantly offered very high bonuses. This led to overgeneration of resources, which inevitably resulted in imbalances to economy on certain servers. Again, this is about servers in general. There are some areas that have 90% bonus. One place I know that has a 90% bonus is north of Pandawa. It's I think it's like the I forgot the name of it, but it's like these like red monkey people, and yeah, they drop their experience is pretty big. Like it's a 90% bonus, and on top of that, if you put idols, you easily get like 1.5, 1.7 million a fight without even doing challenges. It's pretty crazy. And the loot, I think you're pretty much guaranteed to get like their 20% drop rate item. So it's a pretty good place to farm for XP and money. Actually, it's like 8, 10k a fight, pretty good. Certain anomalies remained open for days at a time, and this was all the more striking with low-level anomalies. This was also indicative of players' lack of interest in fights against anomaly guardians. I'm not sure what keeps an anomaly up. I mean, they don't really say. It's kind of even pointed towards maybe fighting the guardian. I fought one guardian before, and it was crazy. So I'm not sure if fighting the Guardian is what actually makes it go away. Um, Anomalies appeared very often in the same territories. Again, I don't know what causes that, or if that's just like coincidence or something. I'm not quite sure. Maybe it's just maybe it's more skewed towards certain territories. Like I see it all the time at Turtle Island, for instance. Certain steps in the process of creating a legendary pet made it very difficult to access this level of optimization. We'll come back to it later. I don't know anything about legendary pets. Kind of like I think they're the pets that give like like 120 crit or something like that, like some crazy stuff. I'm not quite sure about that. I don't know. So changes. So what are they going to be changing? Loot and XP penalties have been removed. The bonus. The bonuses provided by anomalies in different territories will increase or decrease in a passive and cycle way every hour. The changes to these bounties will be driven by player activity each territory. The less of a territory is harvested, the faster its bonuses will increase. Conversely, the more it is harvested, the slower the bonus will increase. Note that if the level of harvesting gets too high, the bonus can decrease all the way down to zero. Um, so by the sounds of it, it sounds like if no one's doing anything there, the bonus will increase there. If people are farming there, the bonus will decrease. I think how it works right now is if people kill things in another area, it'll boost the percentage of all the other areas by a little bit. So instead of having it like that, they're gonna have it so it just simply if no one's killing anything there, it'll go up, and if everyone's killing things there, it'll go down. So it's pretty much like say it was a 90% bonus, it'll slowly deplete, as you keep killing things. The way this the To make the system easier to understand, we decided to remove math-specific bonuses. There will now be just one bonus for the entire territory. Likewise, the dungeon bonuses will be linked to the bonuses for the territory where each bonus is located. So, for instance, I think Turtle Island, for instance, oh no, Moon. Well, I'm gonna call it Turtle Island. That's Ragnarok. Moon Island is I think 3 territories. I'm not sure if a dungeon is counted as a territory right now, or if it's counted only in the sub area, like the sub territory. But essentially, all those all the dungeons and all the 3 of those territories are gonna be into one. So this is to simplify things. So at a glance, if you look at the map, you can see the bonuses instead of being like, oh, what's this individual? Because like some people might want to farm in like a whole map instead of like specific areas. So it has pros and cons, but I think overall it's better simply because it's more simple. For instance, it might be better simply because let's say one part of Moon Island, such as the Turtle Beach, is over harvested, but inside the jungle no one kills anything there. For instance, I believe the skeletons in Moon Island, north, like the northwest, always have like an 80-90% bonus, which means no one kills anything there. So now that essentially I think that what this means is that like it'll probably be more spread out. Like the whole entire island's gonna be uh like share the same bonus. And I mean, for instance, it might still mean Turtle Island is farmed a lot, like the shore, which is fine. I think one of the issues though is like they actually see experience as a resource. Like, oh, there's too much experience to be giving in some areas. So, for instance, the skeletons are actually really good experience, especially with idols. Idols make the experience jump up like crazy. However, maybe it's too much, and it's simply because no one really kills anything there, and then all the loot is dropped. And again, I don't know the specifics. Because like you would think, if nothing's killed there and people kill things there, isn't it good if you get the loot? But maybe it's not. Like because maybe it's always at 90% because simply not enough people go there. But I don't know that. I don't know that much about it, so I'm not gonna act like I do. Um, so overall, I think it's pretty good, honestly. Um, I just wonder if again they're probably gonna be changing. Like I don't think it'll go down or up as fast as it does on like live right now. It'll probably be like a bit more generous with like how slow or fast it depletes or goes up in terms of the drop. The percentage. Like yeah. Um, we're changing our approach to so that anomalies will not appear in under-harvested territories with a big bonus, 90%. Where we set up things up so that anomalies won't always appear in the same territories or at the same level ranges. An anomaly will now remain open for 2 hours, after which it will close. Again, I don't know how long they last for right now, so. Fights against anomaly guardians can be repeated as many times as you like. I'm assuming you can only do one fight or something. I'm not quite sure. Guardians are now level 200, regardless of the level of the territory in which the anomaly appears. I'm not sure of the impact of that change because I've only fought one Guardian before, and I think it was like a level 61. It wasn't too hard. It was a pretty interesting fight. So I'm guessing low levels won't be able to do the Guardian fight or something. I'm not sure if it'll still scale or if it's only supposed to be for high levels. So um, there's that. So I mean, based off that, I think you're only supposed to farm it if you're a high level now, and it's probably better because I don't think anyone bothered with low level ones because they probably had really garbage loot or garbage chances to drop what you wanted. The unchronic elixir is now divided into 3 consumables with effects of different strengths. Unchronic elixir, improved unchronic elixir, and major unchronic elixir, and three all new recipes have been created for the occasion. These consumables will allow players to increase their chances of obtaining certain resources in fights against an anomaly guardian in exchange for an increase in difficulty. In addition, they can be used in a territory affected by a temporal anomaly in order to obtain new loot and XP bonuses. The amount of loot and XP bonuses, the power bonuses granted to enemies, and the duration of the consumable effects will depend on the type of unchronic elixir the player consumes. Um, Again, I don't know the exact like how much this will impact. I'm not sure how much a elixir even does right now. Um, like I'm assuming this is a good change though, because maybe the elixir scales with your level. So now they separated, so maybe it'll be cheaper to use it at a lower level and explore, the same price at a higher level. I'm not quite sure about the specifics of this. Overall, sounds good because I think if the price of the item was tied to the best case scenario, aka like high level players using it, it's probably a good idea to make it so low levels can use it. By like so say like the potion costs 50k, like 50k, 50,000 commas. Um, it's probably good. Like let's say that like, the new lower level potion's only 10k. So it's probably a good change. Again, I don't fully understand it, like because I have never done this stuff, but I'm assuming it's maybe something like that. Regardless, I just think having the having things split up instead of like all levels buy this is a better way to go about it to not impact the prices in a negative way. The amount I already read that right. Yeah, so it's very interesting though. So the potion is interesting because I wonder what type of loot you can even get. I'm not even sure if you can get loot right now during anomalies. Like again, I've never looked into this, so hey, it's kind of cool because if they do this right, I'll get into it. Maybe doing anomalies is good money. I don't know, but it sounds like the guardian fight can be really good. It's not with especially with the elixir. It sounds like just killing general mobs there can be really good with the elixir. I'm not sure what type of drops you can get though. Maybe it's really good. It's also pretty cool that it goes up to a 90% bonus. I believe it's an XP bonus as well. So some areas like say it's over farmed like crazy or whatever, and it's a 0%. Uh, all of a sudden it jumps up to 90% for 2 hours. That's a really good time to go train or make money at that area. So it's pretty cool to see. Like I think it's kind of interesting because I think it really tries to make the world feel like living like instead of like oh I'm just gonna do this and this, it's trying to make you go oh wow this is happening, okay I'm gonna change up what I'm gonna do right now today. And another good idea is when this happens as well, well everyone's gonna be trying to sell the loot there if it's good loot. It can be a good idea just to buy out the loot or keep it because well after the anomaly ends a little bit after it'll probably go back up because there was just a huge injection of resources. Although they're gonna reduce it anyway. They're pretty much trying to make it so like because I already read this, but they're pretty much gonna try to make anomalies more important to do, and whilst reduce the amount of items coming into the game, but making anomalies more important to do. So like to me it just feels pretty cool honestly. Like again, so this is keep reading honestly. Anomalies effects on the territory in its dungeon. XP and loot bonuses increase to 150% as long as the anomaly is open. They remain the same for the entire duration of the anomaly. Uh, Wait, we're changing our approach to the anomalies will not appear in underharvest with a big bonus. I'm just kind of confused. Like, does it increase by a flat 90%? Because then it says XP and loot bonuses increase to 150% as long as the anomaly is open. Maybe it gradually increases as the longer the anomaly is open, but then it says they remain the same. I'm not quite sure how that works because, hmm, I'm not sure, but 150% sounds pretty crazy. I don't, again, I don't know how. I don't know I'm just confused because one says 90%, 150. Both sound fine. If it goes to 150%, that's pretty crazy. That's even more like, wow, we gotta go to this anomaly. When the anomaly closes, its bonuses continue to apply for another 30 minutes within the territory. Once these 30 minutes have passed, the bonus is reset to 0% and returns to a cyclic progression. Um, yeah, so it just sounds like it gets that whole territory gets juiced up, and once it's over after 2 hours and then 30 minutes, it just goes to zero, and then it just goes back, and if it'll go up if no one farms there. We've changed how characteristic bonuses are assigned to monsters in the area when a temporal anomaly is open. There are now 3 variants activated when a player consumes an unchronic elixir. I'm not sure again how. I'm not even sure what they even get to begin with, so I don't know. I didn't even know that was a thing, so pretty interesting. Monsters in the area become aggressive for the entire duration of a temporal anomaly, regardless of the player's level. RuneScape would not have this. They hate aggression, but I think that's pretty cool. Aggression's not even. People always kind of blow up about aggression. They're like, oh, Wabbit Island was so hard because of aggro mobs, but like, you don't get aggroed as long as you keep moving. So I just think it'd be pretty funny if someone was AFKing and like at a spot, and all of a sudden an anomaly happens, and then they die while they're not there because they got aggroed. But it's also pretty interesting because I this might this might kill some people who I koala. There's a koala. Some people AFK mine. I like koala mine. They might die to like the mob if an anomaly happens there, which is kind of funny. I swear there's some people who auto click. I'm not sure if they auto click or if they're just AFK, but so I swear some of these people literally just like have something that's like clicking every so often on the same spot or something. I'm not quite sure, but I still think that'd be pretty funny and I like it. For those who prefer to keep things chill, we've introduced a new consumable which allows you to go unnoticed by these ferocious monsters called the Repellent Potion. To sum it up in all one sentence, we want anomalies to be interesting opportunities for you to seize when they appear, rather than a constraining system that's ineffective and restrictive for players. I agree. I think all these changes are really good and do exactly what they're aiming for, which is really good. I also like that they're making a repellent potion that if you don't want to, bother with it, and just say you're that AFK miner guy, you can just drink this potion. Um, all looks pretty good. What else? I was gonna say something, but I don't know, man. I think that was pretty much it. So let's keep going. What about our pets? The legendary pet system has gone an overhaul. The system turned out to have certain defects that we felt it was essential to correct. We noticed a huge imbalance between the different legendary powers. Certain powers were completely neglected, while others had their hour of glory thanks to synergies provided by other spells and items. This is why nearly all of our legendary powers have been overhauled to make them more attractive as a whole. While while this improvement is still only accessible to a small part of the community, we hope that you'll develop an interest in using these various powers, whether it's to complement your favorite exotic equipment, to make gameplay a bit more enjoyable in monster fights, or to counter a certain type of commonly recurring gameplay in your Coliseum battles, which is PvP. Also, the presence of various imbalances in the recipe for the baby behemoth reflection and the different quintessences encourage us to go ahead and modify not just legendary powers, but also a good number of the resources and the way that items are used to improve your pets. First of all, crafting a quintessence used to be very expensive, and the random aspect of the system forced players to make multiple attempts to obtain the desired power. The result was a massive increase in the common cost of a legendary pet with a particular power. In addition, when a player wanted to trade one at a marketplace, they were forced to put the pet with the legendary power up for sale. We felt that this was an inconvenient way to have to do things, and we decided to change it to give players more freedom. Previously, you had to use the quintessence on your pet to learn what power would be applied to it. This could become a source of frustration, which led to obtain an interesting power on the wrong type of pet. The criteria for obtaining the time loop and the timeless loop resources needed to craft all the quintessences were not explained clearly enough, which made it very difficult for players to acquire these items. Unlike the recipes for legendary equipment, these recipes require two distinct legendary resources available from chests in the Well of Infinite Dreams at a very low drop rate in order to obtain a legendary pet with a power. Again, I have no idea what the heck a Well of Infinite Dreams is. Um, so I'll just continue reading to see let's see their solutions. So these are the problems they identified. Let's see the solutions. The criteria for obtaining the time loot and timeless loot resources have been removed. So I'm not sure what that is, but apparently it was confusing. So you can just get it now. Changed to Baby Behemoth Legend, the resource has been named to Baby Behemoth Relic and is no longer available in chests in the WID Well of Dreams, but is instead dropped at a very low rate by Temporal Anomaly Guardians. Players can increase its drop rate for 5 fights by consuming a major or chronic elixir, only the major ones, so the highest tier one. The other two tiers of elixirs have no effect on the drop rate of this resource. It sounds like. Okay, so first off, it sounds like. Well, again, I'm not sure what the Well Dream is. I think that's like just doing dreams. So I'm not sure if dreams is gonna get a profit decrease because people always say that's really good money. So it seems like doing temporal anomalies while drinking this elixir, or even you don't need the elixir, but the elixir helps the drop rate, can be really good money because it just sounds like this item was a lot of money. So hey, maybe it's really good money. So that's quite interesting. It is now possible to obtain a pet's legendary power in the form of a tradable item. Introduction of new items which each contain one legendary powers: infused croquettes, infused Bork croquette, infused Arachne croquette, etc. The quintessence is now a consumable chest which, once used, gives the player the infused croquette with the specific effect. The quintessence now. Okay. Chosen at random based on type of quintessence. The infused croquette can be given to the legendary pet or it can be traded instead. Um, Okay. It's It's essential to minimize the impact of this mechanic on the PvP experience for players from level 60 to 199. This is why we're adding a prerequisite for pets with the legendary status, which will now require the character to be level 200 before they can be equipped. Changes to multiple resources. So that's pretty cool. So I think so. First off, the last thing they said. So first off, they're changing recipes. Not sure what that is, but guessing for the better. But it sounds like because these legendary pets are going to be easier to obtain, to not ruin PvP in the Coliseum, because all of a sudden you have these legendary pets that are going to be you're going to see them more often instead of some guy just like level 100 just destroying all the levels 100s because they have the best legendary pet for their level for their set, and it's like, well, I can't beat him because he has a legendary pet. They're going to make that for level 200, so that's pretty cool that they actually care about even lower level PvP and don't just go, PvP is only for level 200s. I'm sorry, because I'm actually it's quite interesting how many people actually do PvP in this game. It's also interesting how, because one thing that was interesting to me, and I saw it on a news post before, was they said that PvP is very important for an MMO, and I think they even said for the economy. I can see why. I don't know. I've always been like, because I always felt like if you wanted to play PvP, you should just play, an actual game. But maybe there's more to it, like, because people do it, which means that some people like it. I don't know. Maybe people don't do it in MMOs because it's imbalanced. Because look at World of Warcraft. All I ever saw about PvP in that game was stun lock, stun lock, stun lock. I can't do anything. I'm dead. So maybe PvP in MMOs is only dead or unfun because they make it unfun. So I don't have much PvP experience in this game. I have some, but it seems alright. So who knows? You know, I don't know what I'm saying. I'm just saying my 2 cents. But like, hey, maybe it is good for the game because people only do some people only do PVM to make money for PvP, for instance. And all of a sudden, if you don't have PvP in a game, well, you lose a bunch of players. Um, overall, what was I going to talk about this? So it seems pretty good. So before it seemed that you had to, you know, use an enchant on a pet. You don't even know what the enchant is. You get the enchant, and you're like, well, shit, I didn't want this. But it's good, but it's not what I wanted. So then you go to sell on the market, and people might want that enchant, but they don't want it on that pet. So then it causes a problem. And because the pet slash enchant is probably tied to a price, even if it's like kind of whatever, it's gonna have to be that price. Like, it should probably be cheaper, but it's more expensive because of the random elements in place. So it's kind of artificially expensive. So overall, all these changes are gonna make legendary pets a lot cheaper and easier to get, which is good because it just seems like it was very frustrating in this RNG to get things like you can argue, oh well, it's good because it makes the lifespan of the content longer, but like it doesn't really, like, like people just want to have fun, like people just want to have, like, if anything, you're gonna see more interesting builds because even feel like this type of change. Again, I'm not even sure how many enchants are, but now you're gonna have potentially more builds. People will try out more different things because things are more cheaper instead of like, oh hey, this guy on a YouTube video uses this build, so I'm just gonna do it because everything else is too expensive and I don't want to experiment. So overall, I think it's a very good change. You can also sell the enchant in the chest, in the store now. To get the enchant is still random, but once you get it, you can still sell it. I'm not sure if you can sell the chest or whatever before you get the loot, like the enchant. So because for instance, treasure hunter chest, you get random loot, but you you can sell the chest before you open it. So I don't know. I'm not even sure if opening stuff is better or not, or if that's even fully calculated, because you need to know the drop rates to really calculate the actual price of a chest. But I'm assuming that the drop rates aren't known on things too well. Maybe it is, but if it isn't, then it's probably better to open the chest. Going on. Overall, pretty good. I like it. Reboot the loot, not reroll. As you surely know, Dofus is currently suffering from overgeneration of resources won by players at the end of the fights against various monsters in the game. If we didn't take the opportunity to deal with this issue as part of our revision of the anomalies and the bonuses that go with them, these bonuses would simply be added to the existing ones, which would only further reinforce the overgeneration problem and all of its negative impacts on the game of the in-game economy. So our goal at this point is to revitalize the economy by trying to clean up the loot system as much as possible. We'll now share some changes we made to the loot system, and we look forward to your feedback. Your comments, opinions, and criticisms are very important to us. After all, this system is one of the cornerstones of the game, and so it's essential we take your feedback down. First off, when I read this, it's so refreshing. It almost makes me want to cry because it's like I because they could have just said your feedback is important to us. They even said criticism. It means that they openly invite you to shit talk them, but don't shit talk. Be constructive when you're being like, I don't like this. Okay, don't shit talk. But it's very refreshing because in RuneScape, whenever I try to give my criticism on things, and I was very constructive, I would be called I'm negative, I'm flaming, stop ruining things. Like, it's not. And then like the J mods, they like, oh, I know better than you. I'm a J mod, and it's just like, bro. Then why do you ask for my feedback? Why do you ask players to comment on social media if you're just gonna shit talk them back? I don't get it. So it's very nice to see them just openly say, hey, we're doing these changes. It's very important to the game. We're changing loot. We're changing how drops were common and rare drops. We need to know your opinion. And you know what RuneScape did that made me quit? They literally changed things. Oh, we're just doing this. We don't care. And they literally didn't tell anyone. It wasn't even like an open discussion about anything. They were just like, you know what? Let's just make the best weapon in the game common, just like that. Like, okay, well, I'm sorry. I should talk RuneScape a lot. I know, but I actually love that game a lot, and it's just me being very upset at them. Okay, because it was actually disgusting how they treated me. Um, cause it's just sad because I've always tried to help that game, but first of all, here are the various issues we've identified with the current system. A so-called rare drop rate may not be rare at all, since the various stackable bonuses are all multiplied together. As a result, certain rare resources can become very easy to obtain once loot bonuses have been optimized to a certain level. For example, resources with a basic drop rate of 1% may wind up with an actual drop rate of 40% or higher. Yeah, this is because like I don't totally know how it all works, but I'm pretty sure like if you get 5%, then you add 30%, it just keeps multiplying and it gets really big. While this effect is less critical for so-called common resources, which start with higher basic drop rates to make them more accessible, they can still end up being overgenerated as well. As mentioned earlier, this leads to an imbalance in the duration/destruction cycle, which has a negative impact on the economy on many servers. Of many servers, certain counterbalancing factors linked to these bonuses can be easily avoided. So they're even saying like even if a common resource has a 40% drop rate, uh, it being 100% can be bad, and maybe they want it to be like 80%. Maybe you shouldn't be 100% guaranteed it. Although they do say later on that they have no problem with some things being 100% drop rate. It's just sometimes it's actually bad because they have the data. Um, in light of this situation, there were a number of different principles that we felt we should keep, add, or improve. Encourage players to optimize their characters and their performance to increase their chances of obtaining various resources. Diversify the optimization options. Reduce the cases of excessive bonus stacking that have a harmful impact on the economy, but without completely changing the way people are used to playing. Also encourage players to diversify the range of territories they target. More diverse and balanced resource generation means a healthier in-game economy. So this goes with the anomalies. The last thing they said. So like I said, if players keep farming at one territory, it's going to go all the way from 90% to 0%, and then no one's realistically you shouldn't want to go there. But then when that big bonus happens on that territory again, the anomaly opens, jumps up to 150%. That's when you want to go there. And because players are moving and moving, going to place, it actually helps the economy. Because if everyone's just farming in one spot because there's so much money, well, what's going to happen is there's a few things that are going to happen. Well, one, it should realistically go down, or it'll go down to a price that's like, okay, I might as well go somewhere else that's kind of like shitty. And or another thing that might happen is other resources might not be being harvested at all because of the difficulty, because of the rarity, or what else? I don't know. There's something else I want to say about. I don't know. Sorry, I lose my train of thought sometimes. I apologize. I've just been talking for a while. Um, I'm just gonna move on because I honestly forgot my train of thought, but I don't. I want to remember it. It was something about like even high drop rate places. I maybe it's because so what I was gonna say is some areas like say even at 0 or negative 30%, it's still such good money that even places with a 90% drop rate increase aren't being harvested just because other places are better, even if it has a negative bonus on a territory. And I want to remind you though, with the anomaly change, you will never see a negative bonus. It will always be 0% or 90%. 0 to 90%, which is nice. So it doesn't actually punish players that are just like dropping by for a quest or something. First and foremost, we need to distinguish the two types of bonuses that affect drop rates in the game. On the one, on the one hand, there are so-called controllable bonuses like idols and prospecting. On the other hand, we have uncontrollable bonuses like almanacs, challenges, temporal anomalies, or shield control or shield. I don't know what shield is. Um, so yeah, I don't know what that is. Controllable bonuses allow players to optimize their characters for resource acquisition. Each player can make their own decisions on whether or not to use these idols. Uncontrollable bonuses, meanwhile, are partially random and therefore do not depend entirely on the explicit player decision. Things like this, such as don't take any damage for the whole fight or use melee weapons, those are uncontrollable bonuses. So I'm just saying. Controllable bonuses represent 50 to 90% of the total bonus value applied to drop rates. We believe that these bonuses are too heavily weighted, so we want to slightly reduce their influence on the formula to something closer to 50%. An unfortunate side effect of weighing controllable bonuses too heavily in the calculation of drop rates is that uncontrollable bonuses lose much of their importance. If players can simply ignore uncontrollable bonuses with no real impact, we lose an important tool for encouraging them to regularly switch up the territories they target. Um, so uncontrollable is the challenges and even the bonus of the area. Another important point is that the bonuses provided by idols is the only one affected by the difference between the player's level and the monster's level. We will now be setting this approach to prospecting and Uchronic elixir bonuses as well. Um, it's only one affected by the difference between the player's level. Again, I'm not sure if idols if I think the experience is only affected by player level. I think if you use idols, the drop rate is affected as if like it doesn't matter what level you are. You can be level 200 killing a level 20 monster. Idols are just gonna boost that up to a ton of bonus. I believe that's what it means. Being at a higher level than the monsters you choose to fight gives you an advantage. So it's fairly easy to sacrifice, because it's not really doing anything, equipment in favor of prospecting. At any given level of optimization, of course, a player who's close to the monster's level will have a better chance of acquiring resources than a player at a higher level than the monsters they fight. Here are a few examples of how resource drops would work before and after these changes to the formula. Examples are level 200 player with 250 prospecting and an idle score of 180. So before we get into that though, they're pretty much saying like like a level 200 player farming like level 20 sewer rats making 5k a fight is pretty crazy. And but a level like 20 40 player farming that place, uh, you know, again, well, a level 20 40 player will have a better chance. I'm not sure if they're again. I'm not sure if this is counting like because let's say we're fighting 8 groups of level 20s. That total level is gonna be a 160. I'm not sure if it's gonna be based on the mob's total level, or the level of every individual mob. It might even be the total level, so I'm not quite sure. I'm honestly not quite sure. But I would honestly assume each individual mob based on how they're wording it. So let's look at these charts really fast. I let's see. So I'm guessing these are two different items. So uh, I don't know what this item is. It's Placos, I guess. So right now, basic drop rate is 4.2. Controllable bonus with idols and stuff, it's gonna be you can bump it up all the way to a 28.39. If we don't use any of that, our uncontrollable bonus such as Almax or whatever, and the territory bonus, it can be up to 21%. Total percent is 49.43. Again, even if you don't do the uncontrollable bonuses and you just have prospecting here, it's 28%. So, yep. Uh, so what they're suggesting is this again 4.2 rate. Controllable bonus will be reduced severely from 28% to 13%. So you can only bump it up by about 3 times. The uncontrollable though nerfed a little bit, but it's quite a bit better if you do only the uncontrollable. So you can be fully geared down into prospecting, but if you're doing the uncontrollable bonuses, you'll actually get better. You'll get really good loot. Um, the final is at 29.34% compared to 49.43. So, but again, like it depends. They're gonna talk about like how some player again. I know how players feel. They're like, oh, but you're making things hard. You want people to spend more time. It's quite the contrary. It just depends on the item. Like these are just general numbers. This is not nothing's final. This is just general examples. Uh, but so yeah, like if there's too much of this item and this monster's so easy to kill, then this is a fine rate. Controllable bonuses. Uh, what do we call it? So, percentage of controllable bonus impact on the final rate. Prospecting idols will be 50. It's right now it's 57%. Uh, After the update, it's gonna be 44%. Percentage of uncontrollable bonuses right now it's only 42%. But if you were to do all these things, it'll be 55%. Again, I'm not even sure. Excuse me. Oof, what alliances means because it's just shield. I'm not sure what that. Again, alliances give you bonuses. I didn't even know that. I don't even know what that even is. So that's me. Stars. I'm not even sure what that means. I'm guessing means the bonus of the map. I guess they still call it stars, even though it's not a star system anymore. So, um, they're pretty much just swapping it, and slightly reducing the rate. So I agree with that. I feel like you should be rewarded for going to certain areas when the bonus is good, or doing the challenges in fights to not make them feel like whatever. This is another example. This is like a rare drop. It's a 1% drop rate item. This is like, oh wow, 1% drop rate must be rare, right? So again, on live, it's controllable bonus can bump this up by 9.79%, uncontrollable by 5.56. All this 1% drop rate item is all of a sudden a 15.36% drop rate. Again, though, I didn't mention this before, but like again, like on the side, you see like this is a 50% bonus on the territory and stuff, and I believe on you uh, but after this, now it's going to be the controllable bonus. It's going to be reduced pretty much over half. Uncontrollable, it's going to be a little bit more reduced, but it's still a little bit better than the controllable. And the final rate is going to be pretty much in half. It's not quite in half. So it's reduced the drop rate and make it actually a rare item. Controllable bonus like on live is 63% of the total value. It's going to be 49% after. Uncontrollable is 36. It's gonna be 50%. Again, it's to make it slightly more skewed to uncontrollable slash a bit more even. So I like that. Um, Again, this is all hypothetical. Nothing is concrete. They're just opening up discussion because they like talking to people, which is really great. That an MMO actually wants to talk to players. When it comes to an MMO, this is not a MOBA where you just do whatever and people have to deal with it. It's an MMO where people actually invested time. They play this game for hours a day. They build their character. They immerse themselves with the world. It's not just like I play a game, 20 minutes are up, next game. Like no, these people actually invest time. There's emotion built into the account. Other steps. At this point, you may be wondering why we didn't change the idols or the loot drop formula. The first reason is that we won't go. We can't go changing everything at once. I agree. Changing everything at once is usually a terrible idea because then you don't know what worked or what didn't work. To get a better perspective and be sure we're making the right choices, we need to give the economy time to adapt to our actions. Yep, we need to, and we need your feedback on the results. I agree. I'm sorry. I love shit talking in this game because it's like not even 4 months passed and they buffed the drop rate, and it's like, yeah. The other reason is that we have deeper changes in mind for these two systems. Considering how important they are, we think it's essential to keep you involved in the process as much as we can. Therefore, we'll now present the changes we're planning as a way of sounding out your thoughts on this first draft of our current plans. So again, this is just a preview of like literally their internal stuff. The idle system has been controversial for a long time. This feature has not entirely achieved the results we originally intended, as that's wound up hurting the in-game economy. But while idols haven't worked all that well in practice, the intentions behind it were laudable. Their goals were to provide an alternative to prospecting and wisdom for character progression. I agree. Offer a fun system to adjust the difficulty from one fight to the next. Incentivize risk taking through increased rewards. Provide a way to increase rewards while compromise a character's effectiveness. Some of these points have worked out as intended, like offering alternatives to prospecting and wisdom. Others, maybe not so much. Over time, we realized that the intended increase in difficulty wasn't actually working. It's too easy to set up a combination of idols that doesn't integrate with a character's fight strategy. To take one typical example, a character who faces their enemies in close combat can equip a Kyobe, Yosh, and Dynamo combination to make ranged monsters more dangerous. In this situation, the character's existing strategy doesn't change, but they still get the increased shot rate. So I'm guessing they attack, they're either attacking melee units or they're attacking range units and just locking them and just DPSing, so they're not even getting punished. Like for instance, with me, I go melee a lot with how I play as a Hupper Mage, and it does change how I play because I actually have a lot of long range spells. So I'm probably not the best example, but I can play around it good enough. Maybe I'm a more of a healthy example where I would love to use some of my spells from long range and kite them, but I'm just gonna go in there and take about a lot of damage with my close range spells because if I attack them from long range, I'm gonna get hurt. So I think with me, I'm a worse example. I think with a better example is like a character such as Sackfire. If they just go in melee and attack, they'll always be melee. They never really attack from a range. So there you go. Oh my gosh, I'm hungry, guys. Oof. There are also problems that make it unclear and difficult for players to understand how idols are supposed to work, especially when they start playing in groups. Another issue is the many incapabilities, necessary though they may be, that requires players to change their idol combination when they move to a different territory. I've never experienced this because I've only used one uh, combination, which was increase MP, increase the damage of enemies if you attack them with a ranged attack. So I haven't been through that yet. One thing I am confused about is, for instance, one of my idols is if you attack a unit from far away, they will get a bonus. But I swear that bonus goes away after a while, but it doesn't say it does. I think it actually does. So maybe that's what they mean by confusing, because maybe there's more to it, the idols, than it says. Here are the major categories of improvements we have in mind. Change and simplify the idols effects so that they can't be easily worked around. Remove the different types of idols, minor, normal, major, and masterly, as well as group idols, to bring more clarity to the system. The mechanics of these idols would stay the same, but the concept of the distinct category of group idols could go away. Eliminate as many incapabilities as possible between monsters and idols. To maximize the diversity of the fights available to you, we'll need to avoid asking you to switch up your idols every time you change territories. Again, I've not experienced that, so I'm not sure of a good example. Going further, we may even look at linking idols more closely to temporal anomalies. Idols would still be useful throughout the World 12, but they would become more effective and profitable when an anomaly is destroyed subject to anomalies. I like that change a lot if they were to do that. So overall, what this sounds like they're going to be doing, or what they even said they were going to do, is instead of having like, if you text something from far away, they'll get a bonus, but you're melee. They're going to make more general ones. Like maybe they'll just do it. Enemies deal 20% more damage. Enemies absorb 50% damage. Enemies now reflect 50% of damage. Like they're just going to do things that will 100% of the time, hopefully, affect the way you play and have to change how you play the fight instead of, oh hey, here's this thing where they have +9 movement speed, but it doesn't matter because you're melee and you want to get up to them anyway, and they want to walk melee anyway. I also like that they're going to get rid of the other different types of idols, although I'm not sure what they're going to do to replace the recipes, like, or what they're going to do with the old idols. Because it just sounds like they just want to make one idol and that's it, keep it simple. I also like that they're going to get rid of group idols because, again, I haven't gotten to that, but it seems confusing. Like, how do I even know what a group idol is? I don't even know. It'd be nice to just have one set of idols. Like, you know what, this is what I like to do. Instead of having to worry, okay, I didn't use my group idols. Like, it just sounds like a big of a mess and a complicated mess. Like, you need to have insider information. Loot formula. We've already explained the changes we hope to make to the loot drop system. We'll keep an eye on the consequences, but we'll be aware that we're looking at different paths forward that will make fundamental changes to the system or resolve the following issues. So again, we hope to make it. A so-called rare drop rate may not actually be rare at all. Common loot can be often obtained at a 100% drop rate once person reaches a certain level of optimization. First of all, we are making a change to all the resource drops available for monsters in the game. Each basic drop rate will be associated with a second drop rate that represents its maximum allowed value. For example, a resource with a 10% drop rate would have a maximum drop rate of 55%, or another resource with a 4% drop rate would have a maximum of 23%. Of course, these... Yeah. Okay. Of course, these values are only presented as examples. Next, a new characteristic will be added to the game, speculation. This characteristic varies from 0 to 100 and increases with the character's accumulated drop bonuses. The idea is to add up idle score, prospecting, temporal anomaly bonus, almanacs, and territory control bonus via alliances. Oh, so that's what alliances is. If you own a territory, you get a bonus. Oh wow, really? I didn't know that. Owning a territory gives you bonus. I didn't know that. That's actually pretty crazy. I'm in a shitty guild. I'm not really. I'm not in a shitty guild. I love everyone. If you see this, I love y'all. Don't worry. I'm just joking. These bonuses are then converted into fixed speculation points. For example, a 50% challenge in the current system would grant 50% 50 speculation points, or a 90% territory bonus would grant 90% speculation points. Um, yeah, I'm guessing it can only go up to 100%, right? The goal with this new characteristic is to group the various drop bonuses into a single indicator that's simpler and clearer for you. This characteristic goes up and down dynamically based on the character's bonuses. The more bonuses you accumulate, the higher your speculation will be. However, it will take more and more bonuses to reach a maximum value. It is diminishing returns. Speculation will then determine the drop rate for each resource at the end of the fight. The higher value it is, the closer your final drop rate will be to the maximum value set for each resource. For those who have, pretty much just gave the formula. If you care about it, it's pretty easy. If we go ahead and with if we go ahead with putting these type of changes in place, it will of course be necessary to review the base rates for certain resources accordingly. Our goal is not to artificially reduce your winnings or increase the time you spend in game. To maintain a healthy balance, rare resources, roughly 1%, might increase to 5% with a maximum of 28.7%. Uh, Similarly, common resources, 10%, might increase to 20% with a maximum of 100%. Again, overall, these changes are like if you don't have a full spec to prospecting, it's not needed. Like if you say you're just killing monsters and you're the level to kill this monster, like I'm killing a 130 mob, I'm a 130. You can't really spec into prospecting too much because you're probably gonna get owned by those monsters. But now you're gonna be rewarded for doing content that you're supposed to be doing, and same thing with rares. This system could give us a way to balance resource generation in the game. On the one hand, by maintaining a non-trivial advantage for characters who are more invested in the game, and on the other hand, by providing easier access to resources for the least optimized characters. I like that a lot. It also because it's so rewarding for people who are optimized, but it's not like I need to do this. Like it can get a bit of a headache and just feel like a chore or feel shitty. It's just like, oh wow, a new area and you don't get anything because it's overfarmed by people out of level 200 one-shotting everything, with best prospecting gear. It would also make it easier to understand what you can expect to get from fighting various monsters in game, and how the different bonuses interact. We would also make UI changes along the same lines. So that's good. We've also made it this. If you made it this far, thank you for your persistence. Thank you. I've read this 2 times. We hope we've made it clear about our intentions, and that our planned short-term and or long-term changes seem appropriate to you. We're looking forward to reading your thoughts in the comments. So fire up your keyboards, and we'll see you there. Fire up your keyboards. That's funny. They want the flame. um, but I actually like that a lot. I like the new characteristic. I remember when I first saw the speculation characteristic, I was like, are there gonna be scrolls? I know it's just to show, like, so instead of you having to calculate all the bonuses in your head or whatever, or just be like, okay, I guess that's fine. You can mouse over your speculation in your characteristics and be like, oh, that's I have 90%, 90 out of 100. That's pretty good. Like you have a rough idea on how much your bonuses are, or if you're even capped off at 100%. Overall, I really like that. Again, this is all make it super simple and easy. Because even for me, it's kind of complicated. It's like, well, it says my base bonus, but then it's like, is the base? I'm guessing the base bonus. Like, how do you calculate the anomaly bonus or the territory bonus? And I believe there's even a bonus for how many monsters you verse. Like, because the draw rate actually increases for each player on your team, not counting sidekicks, and for how many enemies you're versing. So if you're versing an 8 mob of like level 20s, it's way better. Your drop rate will go up way higher compared to versing 1 mob. Um, I also like that because it also means there won't be a necessity to verse like an 8 mob to get like really good loot. So now like you say like a level 100, instead of having to fight 8 mobs, which is probably impossible for them to get a drop, they can just like 2-3 with a sidekick, and because the drop rate caps off, they don't have to do that, which I like. I overall like this. It pretty much allows you to play the game how you want. You can still do exactly what you're doing. It's just might be a little bit less rewarding, but the price will probably go up, so it's probably fine. And you're not so demanding. It's not the game's not demanding to go into prospecting or to use idols every single fight. And I also just like that they're gonna make idols actually challenging instead of like idols have just been injecting so much resources into the game because they're not even challenges and people just one shot everything. So overall, I'll leave a link in the description of this video. Really, 49-minute video. Jeez, if you watch this, congratulations. But I just thought I'd go over this. It's just very refreshing. Like in RuneScape, this is what it would be. You would read this. We're doing this. Maybe like two things. That's it. See you next week. Honestly, you'd be lucky to even have that. Okay, because they never explain shit. It pretty much got to the point where the company was so afraid of feedback and like people being toxic. Although I would say a lot of people are being toxic for the wrong reasons. That they were scared to talk, and they only talk in Discord or like only talk to like elitists and stuff, which is just awful. You're only getting that type of feedback. I like that they put all their plans like this shit might even come out months from now. Who knows? Uh, but they're giving you an idea, and because they respect you as a player, they respect your time. They're not just gonna blind to like, ha, 100% drop rate increase. Deal with it. I know best. Like that's how RuneScape treated me. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm not going crazy. But yeah, that's honestly how I felt they treated me. It was actually disgusting. I like that they respect the players here. Again, leave a comment if you play this game. I highly encourage you to play this game. This game is really fun. It may seem a bit daunting because again, it's a turn-based game. Not many people have played them, it, but trust me. Like at first, I was like, oh my god, it's a bit overwhelming. But again, they're making the game simpler and simpler as time goes on. There's a lot of times where I was like, oh wow, if I change my mount name, can I change it again? Do I have to buy some MTX thing? There's none of that. Like, it's kind of crazy because I feel like some other games in like RuneScape, they taught my brain to be like, oh, if I do this, it's going to be permanent, and I'm going to be punished. This game does not punish you like other games. Like they're like you can usually reverse things just like that. Like, so that's pretty much it. Overall, I think all these changes are really good for the game. Because yeah, over injection of items and not enough sinks is really good. I like that it's gonna make you encouraged to explore the world and go to new areas or kill different monsters and do different strategies. And it just sounds all really good. It sounds like a really fresh take, especially with the upcoming engine update that this game's gonna be having. I think it's gonna be really fresh. I think this game's gonna be so fresh. It's gonna feel like a brand new game essentially, honestly. So yeah, that's it. Hope you enjoyed the video. Leave comments maybe. Yeah. If you want more Dofus videos, maybe I'll make more. Maybe I'll make a money making guide about like how to fish, like because fishing's really good money. Maybe I'll make killing rats or something. So yeah, bye bye.